Welcome to Silent Symptoms, a Black mental health podcast. I am your host, Katasso Fridge, a Florida-based therapist. This podcast focuses on mental health, stigmas, and social injustices that affect the Black community. This podcast was created to bring awareness about mental health and can be used as an educational guide, but this is not to be used as a replacement for seeking help from a therapist. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hi, welcome to Silent Symptoms, the Black mental health podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about why it's important to be alone and why it's important to be alone when you get into a relationship. I want to explore those two different things. So last week I talked about knowing your worth, and knowing your worth is super important in order for you to be able to explore the ability to be by yourself. And why I feel like this is important, one of my friends recommended for me to be able to talk about being alone. And I feel like it's very important. It appears to me that when we all get into relationships and then the relationship ends, we want to hurry up and get a rebound. Rebounds are not always good for our mental health. And I say this because we have not taken the time to figure out what went wrong in our prior relationship. And on top of that, we are still having those wounds. We have not healed those wounds to be able to explore who we truly are without that individual that we just got out of a relationship with. And we want to hurry up so our feelings aren't so attached to the last person. So we try to hurry up and get into a new relationship without exploring the last and being by ourselves and enjoying who we are as men and women. And I think that society has put on us to be able to have relationship goals. It's always a constant. We always see on social media about being in a relationship. Okay, it's nice to be with someone, but we have to be with someone who's able to value us. So if we haven't had the time to explore who we truly are, how are we going to be able to have a beautiful relationship, a relationship that is fulfilling, that is loving, and to be able to be with someone that's able to cherish who we truly are, the essence of our being, not the outside, because the outside can be beautiful, but if you're early on the outside and the inside, we don't like that. And you could be beautiful on the outside, have a nice body, work out, or whatever you do, have surgery, but if your inside is disgusting, there is nothing you could absolutely do to recover from that unless you do some soul searching and some healing in order for you to be alone. So, in order for you to figure out why it's important to be by yourself, number one, we have to understand that everybody else's opinion does not matter. We have to be able to value our own opinion. So if we're in a relationship, right, and we're having problems with our mate, we always want to go consult with our friends. And our friends are single. They haven't had a successful relationship. They're trying to tell us how we need to handle our own relationship. So that's where the problem lies. And we take that into consideration and we ponder on that and we bring it to our partner. Number one, please don't consult with people who have never had a successful committed relationship, and people who are serial daters, serial cheaters, and people who are known as thoughts or hoes or whatever you want to call it. Please don't consult with those people about your relationship, even when your relationship is in chaos. So you want to consult with people who are in a stable relationship that is healthy, that is happy. And I'm not saying every relationship is perfect, because if there are not valleys, highs and lows, that's not a real relationship. So don't consult with those people either. So if you have a couple that you know is very stable, but they have their ups and downs, are willing to learn from their mistakes and willing to share with you, consult with those people who have been married for years and have a healthy marriage, a marriage that you want to model after, a marriage that you feel like is great. You need to consult with those people, not with people who have a marriage that's in chaos. They're married to be married and they're doing it for the kids. Don't consult with those people. Please remember the importance of being by yourself as well. I think that we're in a society where, we see on Instagram really cute pictures of people being in a relationship. Those are cute and all, but we do not know what is going on in everybody's relationship. So we have to understand when we get out of an unhealthy relationship, or we've been single for years, and it's nice to be with somebody, but the best companionship is with our own selves. Because if we cannot find validation within ourselves, then we're not going to be able to be validated by others. And if we thrive on validation by other people, then there is something wrong there. So if we're always looking for our partner to make us feel good and tell us we're beautiful and good morning and I missed you and you're the best thing that has ever happened to me, there's a problem. Because if we need that and we thrive on that and our partner does not tell us that, we feel like that's a problem in our relationship. Negative. Your partner does not have to tell you all those things every single day. We have to be able to be realistic in our relationships, and we stop leaning on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook on what we require for our own relationships. We have to be able to define our own definition about what a relationship is and what being alone is. Because, when we get to a certain age, so if we're in our 20s and then reaching our 30s, some families have that pressure. They start to ask women especially, man, when are you going to get married? Those eggs are going to start getting fried and tossed. Like, when are you going to bring a husband? What's wrong with you? Why are you by yourself? Why are you single? Why aren't you married? Oh my God, you've been married to somebody. You've been in a relationship with somebody for 6 years. Why aren't you married yet? Please, people, please don't fall on the pressures of what our family wants us to do, because at the end of the day, our family is not going to be in our relationship 24/7. Yes, we can take their concerns into consideration, but if we're doing what is best for our relationship, let us keep it that way. Because at the end of the day, if we continue to worry about what our family wants, we're never going to be happy. So let's talk about the significance of being by ourselves. There's something so important about eat, pray, love. Like, we have to be able to find the core of who we are before we got into our first relationship, second relationship, and third relationship. We have to figure out about what we like to do. So if Kay likes to go out and hang out with friends, go on trips, that's what Kay likes to do. Kay has to figure out what she likes before she gets into a new relationship or whatever she decides to do. Because before I got into my relationship now, I had to make sure that I was clearly free of my last relationship, and I had to do what I wanted to do. So like I mentioned in the last podcast, I was traveling. Like, I was doing me to the fullest. When I tell you guys, people were literally reaching out to me like, I want to hang out with you. What are you doing? What's going on with your life? You're always having fun. I literally had to have fun and find who I truly was, because when you get into a relationship, sometimes there's a compromise. I mean, I really hate compromising, but at the same time, there is a limit where you have to set for yourself in order for you to have a healthy relationship, because we have to let go of the notions of being single. So I was touring the entire United States, going outside the country, having the best time of my life, because that's what I like to do. And the way that I stayed sane was for me to travel, have fun with my friends, and figure out who I truly was, because I had spent previous years, trying to please someone, have fun with someone. And in a way, I kind of diminished who I truly was and forgot my complete worth. So I had to learn how to be by myself. And it was easy for me to be on my own, to be quite frank, because I've always been very independent. I've always been the one to be the leader of the pack, have fun with my friends, get my friends together, let's all do something and have a good time. So in order for you to be by yourself, you need to understand the value of you. So finding that self-worth and that self-actualization. There is something so beautiful and enriching and reaching down inside our core to find out who we truly are. So that when we get into a new situation, we aren't just settling for whatever somebody brings to the table that sounds good and looks good. Because you know that when we're by ourselves, we're able to figure out what our standards are and what we're going to allow into our life and what we're not going to allow into our life. So we have to really think about who we truly are when we're by ourselves. Because if we base it on our needs, our satisfaction on somebody else's validation, we are already going left. So let's go right. Think about what you need as an individual. We need to think about what makes us feel good, what makes us look sexy, what makes us feel happy, and things that we truly like to do. Because when you're in a relationship, you really can do everything. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I do everything. No, you don't. Because you have to consider somebody else's feelings. If you do whatever you like and your man is there, you ain't by yourself. So we have to think about that. And then we have to really value ourselves. Like, when we're really truly happy with who we are, the way that we look on the outside, the way that we are on the inside, and the value of coming, like, beauty is really skin deep. So we don't need to be caught up on the outside, because that could be changed. People change who they are on the outside every single day. But if we're beautiful on the inside, anybody can attract your energy and anybody will want to be with you, because yeah, we could look good on the outside and we could strut, we could have our model walk. But if we're freaking ugly, there's nothing we can really do. Like, after a while, that beauty on your face is going to wear off. And then when somebody realizes you're so nasty and ugly on the inside, like, they don't want to deal with that. So make sure that your core is very beautiful. And if you feel like you have an ugly inside, we have to work on that. We have to seek therapy. We have to seek advice from our friends and think about what other people say to us. My dad said, when you have a feeling about someone, or if somebody comes up to you and says something about yourself, even though you feel like it's not true, always consider it, because they may see something that you don't. And I've always lived by that, because if somebody tells me something about myself, I may not like it initially, but once I take some time to reflect, I may or may not be that, but I need to be able to think, like, dang, what did I do for that person to think that way about me? And if people are saying positive things about you, continue to be that great person that you're meant to be. And, some people feel like the advice of other people is Bible. Okay. Everybody's advice is not Bible. We cannot live our life based on what other people think about us. I'm going to tell you, because different people have different morals and values. So people's morals and values may be completely different from our own. So if we take everything they say, we may be going down the wrong path. So we can consider what people say, but we don't need to really value what they say. So when things happen in your life, we have to take time to reflect on ourselves and think how we can better ourselves as an individual. And always take the time to be an observer. So when things are happening in your life, right? Everywhere we go, everything that we do, we need to be able to sit back and listen and observe and look at the people around our lives, because we can't be the center of attention all the time. So observe, be quiet, take the time to listen, and don't take the time to listen to other people's opinions. Just be observant and form your own opinion about what's going on. We have to be able to do that, because once a person is an observer, we already have an upper hand right there, because we are not listening to everybody else. We are using our own observation. We have to always learn too how to talk to ourselves. Sometimes when things happen in our lives, we always want to consult to other people and want other people's advice. Nope. If you're spiritual or religious, please take the time to talk to yourself first. Sometimes when I'm in the car, I talk to myself and think about all the things that I'm going to say to whatever individual it is, and whether it's my parents, myself, my boyfriend, or whomever, I take the time to talk to myself. We all do it. And sometimes we get ourselves hyped up. Yep, I'm going to tell this person exactly how I feel. They gonna hear it, boo. And with that being said, we also have to think about the positive and the negative and what we're about to say to people. We cannot just say what we want to say to people. We also have to consider other people's feelings. So sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. If you're going to be telling someone how you feel, make sure it's not disrespectful, but the delivery is the way that it needs to be delivered. If you're trying to drive a message home and your message is genuine, please watch your delivery. If you're trying to be nasty, we have to think about the response too. We have to be able to receive what the other person has to say, especially if we want the person to change. So we can't be like, well, I was just telling the truth. Well, your delivery was kind of off. So we have to think about those things too. So we have to talk to ourselves and make ourselves better and bring ourselves down. And sometimes we don't always have to consult our friends and family. It's not about us. We have to talk to the man upstairs if we're religious or spiritual. Talk to your entity or higher being about how you are feeling, because we're not looking for sympathy, but we are looking to grow as individuals to do better for the next situation, right? Or for whatever we're feeling. So we have to be able to avoid mindless consumption. When I say mindless consumption, we have to be able to clear out the extra noise. So don't bring people into your life who don't have any value. And I'm always going to be a true believer about this. If people in your life don't have specific roles, you need to reconsider. Okay? We all have specific roles in other people's lives. If we are going to be around people, they need to be people that we call when we're sad, happy, want to go out, have to go to dinner, have couples trip with. Everybody has a role in our lives, and we need to think about that. And we don't need to bring people into our lives that don't bring any value. So always, if you're single, have single friends who are amazing, who are successful women or men who are doing great things, and not single and try to hit everything that's going by, but single and having a good time, a genuine good time. And I'm not bashing anybody having casual sex, but what I'm trying to say is that people who are going to be able to create value in your life and teach you something. Because if I'm around an individual, it's because I want to have fun, or they bringing value into my life. So I need to always consider that. And we also need to be able to do things by ourselves. A lot of people cannot go to dinner, go to a movie, go to lunch by themselves. People, it is 2019. Come on, 2020 is going to be knocking on our doors. Are we still afraid of watching movies by ourselves? We have to be able to do things on our own. And the most liberating thing was that when I learned how to go to movies and lunch and dinner by myself. So there was a point in my life when I felt really lonely. And I felt like, golly, okay, at the time when I was in my prior relationship, I was like, dang, he's not here. He's somewhere else. I really can't do anything. My friends aren't available. So what am I going to do? And I'm like, I need to get myself up and I need to take my butt to somebody's dinner, somebody's lunch, and somebody's movie, because you know what? We cannot spend the rest of our life waiting on people. And I feel the same way about travel. So if we want to travel, we cannot use other people as an excuse not to do things. There's such a thing as solo travel. We should be able to do things on our own. And if we can't do things on our own, we need to look inside of ourselves and do some introspection. What is wrong with sitting at the dinner table and being by ourselves? What's wrong with that? What is wrong with us being at the movie by ourselves? Because the whole time we're with our partner or with our friends at the movies, we're not talking anyway. So what's the problem? Nobody's going to come to you and say, hey, girl, I see you sitting by yourself. Hey, boy, I see you sitting by yourself. nobody's gonna call you out at the movies. Somebody may try to hit on you at at lunch or dinner, maybe. But we cannot live our lives trying to wait on other people. We should be able to do activities on our own. Hell, you can go to go-karting by yourself. Do something that makes you happy, because if we wait on other people to do things with us, we're not going to be happy. So we have to put ourselves first and be happy with who we truly are. And the importance of being by ourselves is realizing what are the things that we have done in prior relationships that have altered who we are right now. So, you know how we're able to give our friends like great relationship advice and we can't even take it? Sometimes we're like, I need to be able to take that advice for myself. Yeah. So we need to stop giving advice that we cannot take for ourselves. So if we're going to tell our friend to leave her man, honey, when it's time for you to leave your man, please keep that same energy. Because you know what? I have gotten so far from that I have grown. So, there are my friends who've had bad relationships, and I have never said, you need to leave him. Well, I'm not going to say never, I have. But when I realized, man, I couldn't keep the same energy when the situation was happening to me, I can expect that. So what I did was, I always tell my friends, I understand that you love this man, but if you see these patterns that are inconsistent with where you're trying to be and where you want your relationship to be, maybe it's best for you to reconsider and see what's best for you. I'm not telling you to leave your man, but I'm telling you this goes against what you have told me you wanted, right? At that point, you have to always have an open book with friends and let them know, hey, remember when you told me you wanted somebody that was committed, that's never going to lie on you or cheat on you? Well, it seems as though you're telling me that it's okay for this specific man to do that to you. So what are you going to do? And say, hey, you don't have to make a decision right now, but I'm going to be here for you regardless, and I'm going to love you, right? So, we cannot be in mediocre relationships because we're afraid to be alone. There are men and women out there waiting, honey. Okay? I have a lot of friends who are sitting up there waiting for a great man who are great bachelorettes. And I have friends who are great bachelors out there thinking like, where are all the good women or good men? Well, maybe some of them are tied up in mediocre relationship, hoping their 10-year relationship will last or a 2-year relationship will last. Well, honey, it's 2019. Social media is available, so we need to shoot that shot to whoever we want to be when and only when we have dealt with things that have haunted us in a prior relationship and we have cleared those things. We cannot jump in somebody's DMs if we still have somebody that thinks y'all are together or have somebody that is haunting you, you're still thinking about. So, honey, work those things out and make sure that you are free and clear for any responsibilities from someone, and you have completely took the time to love yourself and think about the things that you like and your expectations for your next situation so you're not caught up in mediocre. Okay, so let's take the time to be with ourselves and love ourselves, value ourselves, and let's take the time to tell our friends, honey, love yourself a little bit more, but we cannot force anyone to leave a relationship they're not ready for, and we cannot force someone to not want a relationship. So if we've taken the time to settle the score, leave somebody that's not great for us, if we've been single, we've done the work, it's all a waiting game at that point. And we can't jump into relationships or situationships head first. Please get to know the person that you are going to be in a relationship with, because at the end of the day, if we rush these things, we're not going to see who the person really is. We're going to make them somebody that we think we want them to be. Red flag right there. We do not want to make an idea of who we want out of somebody that we know ain't nothing. Somebody that's not calling us back. Somebody that's not introducing us to their family. Somebody that's not making friends with our friends and somebody that's not making an effort to go on a deeper level with us, okay? We have to realize that we're more than that. We are beautiful. We are available. We have done the work to continue to be amazing on the inside and outside. So if you have a friend, or if we are that person, we need to do some introspection and give advice and talk to ourselves on how we can do better, and talk to our friends on how we can become better in order for us to be successful in being by ourselves, in order for us to be in a healthy relationship. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and I think that you may have found this to be very helpful. So watch the Know Your Worth podcast and come on over to this one. I hope you enjoy Silent Symptoms, a Black mental health podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. You can catch us on Anchor and all your favorite media streams. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Silent Symptoms Podcast. Let us know if you have any feedback or topics that you would like to hear.